Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day regardless of how terrible the market is. Bitcoin pulling back as per usual, kind of stuck in its range, and just kind of give you a quick understanding of what's going on. Bitcoin appears to be forever range bound. Obviously forever isn't 10 days, that's what we've experienced so far, but until this trend is broken, we got to presume it's going to continue. So again, 95 is a low, 98K is the high, is a rough estimate there. Let's just take longs and shorts in that range. How that factors into SUI is very similar in a lot of ways here. Only difference is, this is a good sign by the way, SUI hasn't pulled down to its lowest range, which Bitcoin is getting close to. So that kind of implies some sustainability and some stronger price action, but it also unfortunately invalidates a lot of these awesome patterns that are supposed to break out that don't when we have just a significantly red weekend followed by, a pump and dump this morning. So it's not really the best conditions to trade right now, but the good news is we're coming up on a support range at 320 is that level that has proven to be a pretty strong amount of support here for SUI. And with the local low being in, there's a decent chance we can pivot here and continue higher, pending Bitcoin doesn't continue to dump, right? Again, every single analysis on altcoins is a pending Bitcoin doesn't do XYZ, which it consistently does those things. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at there. Let's look at the backend data, see if there's any more incentive for the price to go potentially lower or higher. Do me a favor though, before we go any further, folks, always hit that like button on every single video of mine you watch. It's crazy. We got maybe 5% of the people that actually hit the like button versus those who are watching the videos. So just do that every time, folks. It really helps grow the channel. To me, it gets this in front of more people so that way people can stop getting destroyed by all these other idiots who are telling you to take every single trade to the moon. That word should never enter your vocabulary, by the way, unless you are an astronomer and you like the stars in the sky. Different story altogether. Anyways, forget that I said that. Let's take a look at the last 7 days of liquidation. Super big chunk at about 265. I don't think we're going to see that right away, but again, we're in the low $3 range. I wouldn't be surprised. We take a look at the macro liquidation. We're getting closer to that lower range. If we lose $3, I wouldn't be surprised we see a wick down to 250. So again, not fantastic trading conditions here, but overall, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to hit that level. It's just important to be mindful of. So that way you can have some nice little limit orders there potentially for your spot bag. It does help us understand that. Good news is too here, liquidation delta is getting pretty high. And what I mean by that is we have too many shorts in the market right now, and in turn market makers see that. They like to destroy those late shorts. So if you're shorting right now, just know you probably have a target on your back because this number has been too high for too long. Granted, it hasn't been like monumentally high for too long. Generally after 5 days, you'll see this is something that absolutely gets destroyed. We might have another day's or two's worth of short benefit. In other words, you could probably short and still consider taking profits, but for the most part, this stays too high for too long. We see some problems there. And again, the only reason why I urge caution is because Bitcoin's getting close to its tentative bottom and its range that it's been stuck in for 10 days now, right? That range continues. We're going to see a bounce off 95,000, rally back up to 98 to just destroy anybody who's shorting. It's very sickening, but it's also just very much part of the trading conditions we're in right now. So I'm almost applying like a reverse logic to my trades now. Well, that's haven't truly formulated that, and generally speaking, once you start changing things, they'll change it on you too. But the concept here is to do the opposite of what you think is logical. Everything is telling us to short right now is probably a reason to take a long, right? That's just kind of the concept. Anyways, when we see here, we're below all open interest here. There's a very small amount of open interest, about 315. So the general consensus is that we're below a lot of resistance, and taking long right now doesn't make a ton of sense. But when you take a look at this here, look how overextended this is. We see we've got an 8 on TD sequential. Basically, we ran for 36 hours in a row without any pullback. Then we got another 8 candles roughly to the downside. So we've been moving almost 72 hours in the same direction. A lot of times when that 72-hour time frame occurs, which is why you see 3 green days followed by a 4th red day, you'll see a reversal coming. So I think we're due for a shift in momentum here. Again, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin, but for the most part, it does look like we're starting to bottom out. The bottom isn't dropping out like a lot of other coins are. Like Solana, avoid that one, folks. That is a hot mess. Anyways, we got trapped into a long there, and unfortunately had to close it early before we hit our stop loss. Just not a good situation, right? Again, I almost took a long on SUI too at that 350 range as well. Glad I held off because again, the market makers, they just keep pushing the price action up and down as they see fit. And right now, we're kind of stuck in this ridiculous range with Bitcoin. So just know Bitcoin's probably going to pull back a little further. Therefore, we'll probably see a little bit more downside here for SUI. But the tentative bottom is in here at this 320 mark. There's a lot of confluence there. We've seen that number getting retested multiple times. Either way you look at it, we're under all moving averages here, even though we had a false breakout on Friday. We can see here as well that we have money flow index increasing. Don't trust that, folks. That's just simply a false parameter, mainly because today's Monday and we had low volume over the weekend. Generally will skew that number, making you think that there's a breakout that isn't going to happen. Either way you look at it, we're under 50 on the RSI. Everything here is absolutely bearish. Now again, this coin has been bearish on the daily time frame for a while, even when it was tentatively bullish. So try not to attach yourself too much to one direction there in that sense, because one time frame rather. The daily time frame is looking pretty terrible in all coins. Okay. Now again, most coins are knee-jerk reactioning down, pulling back really hard, but for the most part at this point, this coin is exuding a lot more strength than most coins, tentatively bottoming out at this local low. All that being said, we're still under 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is low. Stochastic is trying to swing up and MACD is diverging. So again, once more, a mixed bag of crap. Okay, there's no other way around it. Like, we take a look here, we got some tentative resistance, or we're below that short-term descending trend. You can kind of see here. Sorry, short-term ascending trend. Now we've broken below that. We can presume that's going to be a resistance force if it comes back up again. Okay, again, a lot of things are just pointing down here at this point. And the logical thing to do would be to not trade to the upside. And if you consider shorting, you want to watch it close. However, just know logic doesn't necessarily apply in this market right now, or much anymore in the last 2 months worth of trading. Because again, there's so many fundamental catalysts that are just driving the price in all sorts of different directions. Sometimes I don't even think market makers know what they're doing. And again, it's just one of those crazy, crazy situations that's affecting a lot of good coins. So this coin is obviously one of those. Last but not least here, this is confirming that you shouldn't take a long at all. All right, so if you do end up taking a long, folks, just know, use extreme prejudice when you're doing so. I would not recommend it. But once more, at this point, if it's not logical, it's going to work out, right? So logic would tell you not to take a long right now, even though it'll probably end up going up because of that. Right, so just know that that's the case. So me personally right now, we're considering a long at 95,000 for Bitcoin. I actually have the order in, and if we get filled on that, I'll be super happy. So we can just take that back up to 98. SUI, different story altogether. I would honestly wait on this one just because it's too volatile of a coin to want to kind of FOMO win. But again, 320, a lot of confluence here, this little 315 to 320 range. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce here soon, pending Bitcoin goes sideways and up a little bit. All right, cool. That's what we got there. But just know Bitcoin is more likely to come down a little bit further before it comes back up again. It should test 95,000 here soon. I wouldn't be surprised when that happens. Cool. All right, folks. Thanks again. That's what we got there. Oh, last thing. I'm sorry. I forgot to mention this. I should open with this, but Bitunix has a nice little deposit bonus for the next, 3 or 4 weeks. So just make sure you take advantage of that. Those of you who are part of my community or have used my link to register. If not, go ahead and do so. There's some deposit rewards and registration bonuses. They're an awesome exchange though, folks. No KYC or VPN. Consider using them. They're really good to us. All right, folks. Have a good rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.